Hello, my name is Matthew, and I had quite a surprise this morning. I got a Google notification, something that I had set up in my calendar that I had forgotten about, and it turns out that today is my 4-year anniversary on having a book channel, my little book channel that I have, and I thought that was really neat and kind of special. 4 years is a long time, and I've made a lot of videos. And I'm sorry if you're someone that has been um, along watching my channel, you might have noticed that I haven't made videos in quite a while, and it surprised me. It turns out it's been around 3 months since the last time I made a video. It really reminds me how time flies, tempus fugit. Um, and The reason is I did, to be honest, I did lose some motivation in making book-related videos for a variety of reasons. Some of it is things that happened online, social media, and actually some YouTubers that really took a lot of the fun and motivation that I typically had in making videos. And also, I really am a creature of habit, and so if I'm doing something, I'm doing it consistently, and it's a part of my routine. And when I stopped having a mindset of getting home from work and setting up a camera, talking about what I'm reading, it really went away very quickly. And I felt bad this morning because I went and checked on my YouTube channel, which I haven't looked at in quite a long time, 3 months or something. And it gladdened my heart, and also a tinge made me feel a little bad because I saw all of these comments, all these nice comments that I didn't see. I don't have notifications set up, so I saw all these nice comments, and there were a handful of comments of people saying, like, "Where are you? Is everything okay?" And I need to go back and try to respond, and not just completely vanish. And so it's a new year. I really enjoy making these videos where I talk about the books that I'm reading. And I've read quite a lot in the past 3 months, the usual amount, I suppose. I thought I would just show a bunch of books. I might end up trying to make separate videos on some of them. I suppose if there's anything that is a particular interest, please let me know, and I'll take it into consideration, I suppose. And the main thing that I've been reading most consistently for the past 3 months is the Bible, the Old Testament, the New Testament, the Gospels, the Epistles of John. I read Maccabees during Hanukkah. Last week I reread Exodus, which was hugely enjoyable. It's such an instructive and entertaining story. And I've been reading this behemoth, the Norton Critical Edition. This one is I just grabbed the Old Testament, but I have both of them. And something else that just made me feel terrible. I did finish The Vampire Lestat by Anne Rice, and I had a book club going with my friend Steve Donahue, and it wasn't organized. And I thought it was kind of charming that it's just casual and loose, and a book club that doesn't really have any pressure or obligation. But it was too disorganized, and I really feel like I let Steve down because we didn't have any structure. We didn't know when we were going to be making videos. We didn't agree on how many chapters we are going to be reading. Um, and I feel like I didn't keep my end of the bargain with just having just a clear, organized format in place, and so I felt like it was rather confusing. And when I do know that when I stopped getting out of the habit of making videos, whenever it occurred to me, I thought, well, I still have to make that vampire video. Like, I still haven't made the last Vampire Lestat video. I can't make another video until I do that one. And I have such a terrible memory that now I might try, but I feel like it's going to be very difficult to try to recall names and places and things that were happening, but maybe I'll try. We'll see. After that, I read, a lot of these are rereads, some things are new, but The Damned by J.K. Housman, or Alzman, or Hoosman, or however you say it. And I think this is a fantastic book. It's dark, it's debaucherous, raunchy, sometimes funny. And look at that cover. That's just like the best cover. And again, I could make a whole video just talking about this. Maybe I will. I reread Leucippe and Clitophon by Achilles Theaetus, however you say that. It's an ancient Greek novel, and it's a romance. It's full of magic and superstition, and it's very strange. It's unconventional isn't the right word, because at the time that this was written, there was no convention to a novel, so it's just original and unique, really great, very strange. I reread A Christmas Memory, which is a book that I read at the end of November, beginning of December, every year. It begins with the funny old lady exclaiming, "It's fruitcake season," charming and tender. Let's see. I read, actually I took a moment trying to find the actual essay, but I've been reading some of the essays from Borges, and one of the essays that I read, he mentioned a novel by Melville, by Herman Melville, which I hadn't read, and Moby Dick is really one of my favorite novels, and one of my favorite novels that I also believe is one of the great novels. So it's both of those things. And I've read a lot by Melville, but I don't think I had heard of this book, and then also having that consideration of if this is like one of these great writers that you like, really should be reading more of them. And this is Marty. It's a used copy that I found. And the other reason that I became so interested in it is that Borges described it as this proto-Kafka-esque novel. He described it as an endless chase on the endless sea, and also described it as being unreadable and impenetrable, and the makings of Moby Dick, but not quite with the same mastery. I got about halfway through this thing because it's a tough read. It has allegories and histories, and the narrative just completely goes away. Unlike in Moby Dick, where you have sort of these alternating chapters where it's clearly defined that there's a story going on. At the beginning of the book, we find this character, he's on a whaling ship, and they're not getting any whales, and the captain wants to, I don't know, but go to like the North Pole or something. I can't remember. And our character, an unnamed narrator or unnamed character, um, doesn't want to go. He just wants to go back to port. And then it's mentioned that at the very beginning of the novel, this ship has been out to sea for like 4 or 5 years before we even begin. Someday I'll have the fortitude to get through this, but very interesting, and it's easy to see the makings of the great Moby Dick. And then the essays by Borges. Let's see. I reread Lanzarote by Michel Houellebecq. It's another one of these books of his where you have a superficial, misogynistic main character that goes off on a holiday, and he's at like some sort of resort town, and it's slight. Michel Houellebecq is really kind of completely worn off of me as far as finding anything entertaining or finding entertainment in his particular brand of shock. I did enjoy. I enjoyed reading this again very much. Poor Alphonse Daudet, or Alphonse Daudet. This poor guy. He wrote one of my favorite short story collections called Letters from My Windmill, which I find wistful and gentle and doleful and sweet and kind. Just these pastoral stories of a town and villagers in this community where the time has sort of passed them by. But Daudet, or Daudet, in real life ends up getting syphilis and dies this miserable, painful, protracted, torturous death. And he wrote a book called, I don't know if he wrote this with the intention, but it's published as In the Land of Pain, translated by Julian Barnes. And it is just journal entries, his thoughts, just him writing beautifully and clearly and engagingly and totally internal. This is something that's eating him up from the inside, and the world has gone away. He's only consumed by the pain inside of his body, and laboriously describes that descent. I feel bad for him. Let's see. What else have I read? So in December, I typically like to read a Dostoevsky novel, and I've had my book club. I've had events, I think for 2 Decembers, where I would make a series of books. I did Crime and Punishment and the Karamazov brothers, where there were like playlists and breakdowns of each part. My girlfriend and I were going to read The Adolescent, which, again, I think at least I got halfway through it. Andrea, I think, got farther ahead than I did. And I don't know what it is, but I can't, this book never hooks me. And it's written, this is what he wrote before he started the Karamazov brothers. And Dostoevsky's this writer that it seemed like he just kept getting better and better and better. And then there's like this oddball, and I feel like I just haven't, I haven't been right in the right mindset to get into the book. I don't know, but I gave up on it. I reread The Life of Michelangelo by Condivi, and it's one of the two biographies. There's a biography by Condivi, and there's another one by Vasari. And the neatest thing, I love The Life of Michelangelo. I find both of those biographies truly inspirational and reverent. But just to me, an interesting aside is that both of the biographies were written while he was alive. Uh, the neatest thing. I don't think that happened very often back at the time that Michelangelo was walking around. What else? And then I'll show some books that I bought in the past 3 months. Maybe I've dipped into them, maybe I haven't read them yet. The first one is The Castle by Kafka, and I admit, I only bought it because of the cover. I have probably 2 or 3 different editions of The Castle now, but look at that cover. I just think that is perfect. And I still have to check to see if this is even a different translation. This could just be a repackage of a translation that I've already read. I'm not sure. Michelle Welbeck had a collection of essays come out. It's called Interventions 2020. I've read a few of the essays, and like I said, a lot of whatever charm that I felt that he had has been really washing away. This is hilarious. So I pre-ordered this, and I decided to get the deluxe, real nice one, real nice package, and it's Cormac McCarthy's books, which is The Passenger, and then Stella Maris, and it's this box set. Very beautiful. You can see it's still wrapped in cellophane. And it's hilarious because I have this thing, and it was like $50 or whatever. And now that I have it, I have zero interest in reading it. Maybe it'll be a collector's item. Maybe one day I'll crack it open and be pleasantly surprised, but I don't have any interest in reading it. This was one of the most exciting books that I've gotten in a long time, and it's Finding Time Again by Marcel Proust. Absolutely beautiful. And the story with this is 10, 15 years ago, whatever, 20 years ago, there was this effort to retranslate remembrance of things past. It would be In Search of Lost Time. Instead of the Moncrief translation, which is kind of the pinnacle, translate the whole thing, and it's magisterial and beautiful and all those things. In this one, they're going to take all the different volumes and have different translators translate each one, and then have some guy named Pendergrast be the overseer. And so they do this, and Lydia Davis is the translator for Swan's Way, the one that kicks the thing off. And it goes on and on. So they publish these things. I'm reading these things. And then they get to the 4th one, which I think was Sodom and Gomorrah. And then the rest of the volumes weren't available in the United States. So you could only get the 4, you couldn't get the rest of them. And then slowly they started publishing in the same style, same edition in the United States, the rest of them. So they separated out The Prisoner and The Fugitive. They came out. And then this one finally came out, Finding Time Again. But the time difference between when the 4 came out and then when this finally got published was 10 years. So I was reading those things in my late 20s, And now 10 years go by, and I finally have all of these in this edition as this set. And then something that Andrea and I started reading, I need to get back to it, but it's Fortunata and Jacinta by Benito Perez Galdós. Just one of the great Spanish writers, comparable to the influence and power that you could find in the same time frame, roughly, with Charles Dickens and Balzac. There would really be a trinity where it's Galdós, Balzac, and Dickens. And the thing that I absolutely love about this novel so far, because I'm only 170 pages in, it's a great big book, is the descriptions of Spain and Madrid. And this is Madrid from a very long time ago. And I've been to Madrid. And there's streets mentioned that I've walked. There's landmarks that I've seen with my own eyes. The Plaza Mayor and Atocha, Calle de Atocha, and all these different places. The palace, and on and on and on. And I've read those books by Dickens, and I've read books by Balzac, and I've seen the 19th century London in my mind, and I've walked through the streets of Paris through the lens of Balzac. This is the first time I've had this feeling where it's hard to describe how transportative it is, but I'm reading about the past of a place where I've been, and I've read things that were set in New York or Baltimore, which is similar, but this is Madrid, and so I'm really enjoying it. I need to kind of get back to it, and if I can, I want to try to make sure I'm making recurring videos and things like that. I apologize if anybody feels like I let them down. I've just been over here with my cats and talking to my girlfriend and reading my books and trying to be good. Thank you for watching. Please leave a comment if you would like, and take care. And happy 4th anniversary to me.